What we're asking for is to acknowledge that though we are reeling with the horror of this discovery, it's not a surprise. This is something that we've known about, that Indigenous children were stripped from their homes, stripped of their language, their identity, and the goal was to kill Indigenous people. And it's clear that that's what's happened at this residential school. So our opposition emotion is to call for concrete action. It is not enough for Justin Trudeau to say that he shares his condolences when he is currently fighting Indigenous kids in court, when he is currently fighting survivors of residential schools in court, when he continues to fail to implement the calls to action from the TRC. So our opposition motion will lay out key requests. One, to immediately cease the belligerent and litigious approach to Indigenous children by immediately dropping its appeal before the federal court. Right now, there's an appeal before the federal court. We're asking this Liberal government to drop that appeal. Secondly, we are asking the Prime Minister to sit down with the St. Anne's residential school survivors and work with them to find a solution. Access to justice has been denied as a consequence of the government's lawyers. So we're asking to this Liberal government to cease the legal proceedings and to work to a resolution without fighting these survivors in court. We're asking the Liberal government in this motion to accelerate the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls to action. There's only been 12 out of 94 that have been implemented. We are calling on this government to implement all 94 calls to action. This motion will also call for this government to provide survivors, their families, and their communities with the supports they need to deal with the trauma, to assist them with the emotional, physical, spiritual, mental, and cultural trauma resulting from residential schools. And finally, we're not going to leave this open-ended. We want to see within 10 days a progress report on these specific items. We want action and we want it immediately. That is what justice demands. Justice demands action, and that's what we're fighting for.